Hi, good afternoon everybody. My name is Rob Warren. I'm Principal Lecturer External Engagement here at Business School, and it's my responsibility to develop a theme for each academic year, a theme under which we invite a number of leading thought leaders and business leaders as guest speakers to come and give their perspective on the theme. This year, as you know, the theme is social enterprise opportunities and challenges, and I'm delighted as our first opening speaker to welcome Andrea, Executive Director of Enterprise Development at Sunderland City Council. Andrea is not only a thought leader, but has also been herself responsible for founding and running a number of really effective and innovative social enterprises. In addition, Andrea has also been one of the leading lights in enabling Sunderland to achieve enterprise city status. So if you could give a round of applause to Andrea and all.
Thank you. You've not let me speak yet. You might quickly get to booze in a minute. Can you all hear me at the back? Or do I have to shout loudly? Okay. I thought before I start, I'll give you a little overview of me and where I've come from. Then I want this to be a bit two-way as well, so I'll ask you some questions. I did have some fancy polls, but my IT hasn't worked, so I'm sorry I can't ask you to do polling. I'll share that technology with Rob afterwards, but I think it'd be great for future presentations. So just to tell you where I come from, I'm relatively new to the council, and I'm not your typical council employee. I'm an entrepreneur. I've set up and run several businesses, some successfully, some not, because you have to fail to learn, which is the first lesson I'd give to you, or the first tip I'd give to you as potential business people of the future. Don't be afraid to fail. Fail and fail forward and learn from what you do. So I have a social enterprise called Pink Ladies, which was a taxi company for ladies only, around safety for women, and it was one of the first community interest companies in the country. Do you all know what a community interest company is? No? It's a way of being officially registered at Companies House as an organisation that has community benefits at its heart. And it means that you can access different pools of funding to help your business, but it actually locks your assets down so that you can't profit from grants and then sell your business and go retire to a beach somewhere. So it allows you to have limited company status without having the access to use public money in a strange kind of way. So it's safe to the government, but also gives a degree of being able to go to a bank and get a loan, different things like that. It's an interesting model to look at. I won't go into Pink Ladies. I'll come back one day and tell you about Pink Ladies if you like, because it was really interesting. I fought the government. I opened and closed 2 loopholes in the law. I had the trades union people lobbying against me. I was nominated for Woman of the Year. I met the Queen, all this all at the same time. So I was a baddie and a goodie at the same time. But it taught me an awful lot about business. From then on in, I went to become a social entrepreneur, because you don't only have to work in your own business to be a social entrepreneur. You can now be a social entrepreneur. And what I did for that, I took a charity who needed an income to sustain their business, but they didn't want grants, they didn't want funding, they didn't want handouts, and I created a new company in a large wholesale organisation, who actually, if I'm really honest, I'll tell you it is, were quite unethical and had no CSR policy, and they needed to get a CSR policy. So I created a new company in their organisation, and all the profits from that company went to fund the charitable activities of Wild Hearts. And I'll show you a video at the end about Wild Hearts, and they're fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. And what Wild Hearts did with that money then, was they then funded microloans around the world. So I've been able to go to Ghana and see this in action. Absolutely fantastic. It was the easiest selling I'd ever done creating this new company. Because believe you me, if you get the right product in the social enterprise market, then big corporations want to play with you. I took it from £0 to £10 million turnover in 2 years. It's really easy to do. It was nice to do it in a corporate environment because it was safe. So there are lots of ways to run and operate social enterprise. I came here just about a year ago because I was at the point where I was bored. I don't know, are any of you entrepreneurs? No? Okay. I'm pretty typical. I get bored very quickly. I like the buzz of a new business. the moment, the council is so interesting that it's keeping my buzz up. So a year in, I'm still quite excited. And I've got the city as my business now. So the whole of Sunderland is my business. Council is quite challenging, but when they took me on, apparently they called me a real risk because I don't say to people what they want me to say. And if I think something's rubbish, I challenge it. And if I think something could be done better, I say it. And I don't like bureaucracy, and I'll try and find a way around, hence challenging the government. So that's what you've got in Sunderland right now. I'll give you my email address at the end, and I'm going to encourage you to take part in a business competition that's running in this university in February, but I'll come on to that at the end. So, the topic today is social enterprise and its contribution to development of Sunderland as a global entrepreneurial city. Twisted it a little bit, because we're not quite there yet. We've got the right things in place, but in my mind, we've not got the right social enterprises that we need to help create this global entrepreneurial city. But we're on a path. And I'd love to get you to help. I need some help on some projects. So I spoke to Rob already. I need some students to come and work with me on some really interesting projects, money part by opportunities. So again, that feeds out there as well. So, what do you understand by the term social enterprise? Anybody? Anybody want to hazard a guess? Should I tell you the official definition? Yeah, the official definition from Social Enterprise UK is a company that makes its living, only 50% of its income is generated by grants, so therefore it earns its income for up to 50%. So it can get grants for 50%, earn 50% from profit. My definition of social enterprise is any business. Any business that has a social goal at its heart. That's what it's all about. It's not about grant funding, it's about wanting to put something back into the community as much as you can afford. And I'll come on to in a little while about the way things have got to change in Sunderland. You're in for massive changes in Sunderland. And social enterprise is going to help us achieve those and also help us to still keep being a council, which is the corporate parent for Sunderland. So, I've put up on this board 3 social enterprises who are live in Sunderland at the moment. The first one is Compass Community Transport Group. You find that nearly all community transport organisations are social enterprises. And this is because they believe in putting their money back into the community, whether that's in kind, subsidising fares. Can you understand me, by the way, because I'm not local, I'm a Liverpudlian actually, although you can tell today. Can you understand me okay? Tell me if you need me to slow down. I speak quite quickly. So, Compass Community Transport has now started with 10 staff and has now got 33 staff. Great community enterprise in Sunderland, going in the right direction, providing a great service. The one in the middle, which is SHCA, I put the lady's photograph up because she's just fantastic. I would suggest, Rob, she's not well at the moment, Margaret Elliott, but if you can ever get in to speak to this group, she's fantastic.
Okay, yeah, she's one of the ones I was thinking of.
Yeah, she's not well, but she's fantastic. This lady, during the miners' strike, started by opening a corner shop. Just a little shop, because all the women wanted to do something to help their husbands, and they created a co-op, a social enterprise. It worked great, it was ways for them to learn business. They then closed it and they started up Sunderland Home Care Associates. And it's now the leading light in its field. It provides home care for adults and children in Sunderland, going to their homes and helping, but also it's then franchised its organisation out around the country. So just because you're a social enterprise, which is a company with a social aim at your heart, doesn't mean you can't be a national or international franchise. It's just what you do with your profits. It's just what you do, what's at the heart of your business. And the final one is Gen 2. Gen 2 was created when Sunderland City Council decided to be quite innovative some years ago and dispose of all its housing stock. So we created an external housing association called Gen 2. They do some fantastic work. Again, Rob, great speakers to get in. They do some really, really good. They care about their residents, they care about their tenants, they care about people with dementia. They've created apps so that they now have a process that looks, for example, at domestic violence. They developed a red flag system, which when their guys go to maintain the properties, if they go once and it's a hole punched in the door, it gets onto the system. If they go again to that same property and something else has had a hole punched in, it's 2 red flags on the system, and this flags up then the potential for domestic violence in that property. And they have a process that they go into action with. Now that is social enterprise, because because that's trying to prevent domestic violence. They do some similar things with dementia, and the app they created for dementia could potentially become a nationwide thing. It's about when they get a call from somebody who says the fire, I don't know, something simple like the fire won't work and they're trying to light it with a match and it's an electric fire. It's one of the early stages plans for dementia. So, quick question to you all. This is where I had a poll and you could have all used your smartphones and it would have been great. What do you think the approximate combined turnover of these three social enterprises are in Sunderland? Do you think it's somewhere in the 10 million mark, somewhere in the 50 million mark, or somewhere in the 100 or the 200? So, hands up for 10 million. 50? Okay, that's a good amount. 100 million? And 200 million. Figure is far in excess of 200 million. Social enterprises in Sunderland account for that amount of money being circulated, the Sunderland pound going round and round. Absolutely phenomenal. They are three great examples, and a lot of it is invented, but that still shows you the power of social enterprise. Big business can still be good. It doesn't have to be evil. I shouldn't call big business anyway. So, if we look at what we've got in Sunderland today, there are roughly 50 social enterprises. And this is why I talked earlier when I opened about wanting to change the landscape. Because if you look at what we've got, they're made up predominantly of care and well-being. So bear in mind the previous slide I just showed you, what do you think makes up for almost a third of it? Sunderland Home Care Associates. They account for nearly a third of the turnover. The next, we've got lots of creative industries. So these could be arts projects to help people with dementia, or arts projects to help a great group called Orchestra, all the group members have autism, and this is using music to help them re-engage with society. Could be all sorts. 15% sports and leisure. This could be one particular company I know called Keep Kids Active. So it's about keeping children busy, stopping them going on their iPads, eating well, whatever. 10% childcare, so we've got some childcare cooperatives. We've got Shiny Row, who's got a cooperative. They want to go into a cooperative, quite interesting. They've got a nursery school, and all the staff are cooperatives of it, so they're all equal shareholders. Quite an interesting model. And then 17% other. It's the other I'm interested in. We need hard-nosed, business-to-business, social enterprises in Sunderland. That's what we need. Great, the others are great, absolutely fantastic, but we need more social enterprises that are business-like. That I mentioned earlier, Wild Hearts, that's got a stationery company and it uses the profits to do something good. You don't have to be a social enterprise in what you are funding to be a social enterprise. You can be a sandwich shop. I know a guy in Scotland, he has a sandwich shop, and the profits, after he's paid himself and his staff, the profits all go to microfinance. Doesn't matter what you're doing, it's what you do with the profits, and it's what you do, what's at the heart of your business. So when you're thinking social enterprise, don't think fluffy. Think real business. And that's why I don't differentiate between a social entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. I'm constantly challenging the council to do social entrepreneur programs. They keep saying, no, I'll do entrepreneurial programs, I won't do social entrepreneurial programs. I'll encourage social entrepreneurs, but I think every business could be a social entrepreneurial business in some way, shape or form. So, the way I look at it is, we need to create the right conditions to grow business. We're doing okay in Sunderland for new business, but we could do better. If I look at funding that's available, we've got loads of money in the North East to start new businesses. There's something called Jeremy One Fund. I won't go into it, it's really technical. But in this whole pot of money, 33% of this fund went into Newcastle businesses, new startups. So therefore, we've got the same population of Newcastle. So would you expect the same to go into Sunderland as into Newcastle? Yeah? Yeah, 7%. So, to me, that's a massive disparity in the take-up of money. And so we've got to change that as well. So I'll be doing some work with these funding organisations who will either give loans, equity or grants within Sunderland to encourage more business startups. We just need to do it. The university gives you lots of chances. I'm here to just supplement that. So it's about creating the right conditions. So if we think about the right conditions for business in general, it's not just one thing on its own. The university is really, really important in this whole picture, this whole diagram. Actually, education in general is really important in this whole setup. So I'm going to touch on microtype at the end, and that'll flip me back into primary school and senior school. But our ambition as a city, our drive, is what is going to drive the changes in this city. It's what's going to drive entrepreneurship, and that starts at school. We've got some great examples. There's a primary school in a little area called Hendon. Do you know Hendon?
Yeah.
Yeah, heard of it? Yeah? Okay. Hendon has some of the worst statistics in the country. The highest number of teenage pregnancies. Sorry? You name the problem, they have it in Hendon. We've got 2 teenage mothers units, but no secondary school. However, there's a primary school in Hendon called Hudson Road Primary School, and the head teacher is really entrepreneurial. So I'm going to work with her because those kids have got ambition. She gives them a £500 fund at the beginning of the year, and they have to create a business with it and make money. So I'm going to work with her. So those kids from her primary school go on to become the entrepreneurs of the future. I'm going to try and do that across the whole of Sunderland. I can't do it on my own. I need people like you to help me as well. So education, really, really important. Think about being an entrepreneur. You can be in business and still be an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter, it's your thought process. The next element is money. Unfortunately, we do need money. You can't start a business without money unless you're an internet genius and you can just do it with time. Hopefully we've got some internet geniuses here. Hopefully we've got the next Microsoft here or whatever's coming along. Really hope we have. But you will need money. This is where I'm going to organise some events where I'm going to get outside organisations to come in and talk about money. You've got venture capitalists who'll come in and take equity from your company. We're frightened of that in Sunderland, no more. They're taking a percentage of nothing because you've not earned anything yet. So I don't want people in Sunderland to be frightened of venture capitalists. There is some grant funding, not a lot, but there is some grant funding, particularly for social entrepreneurs. But there also are loan funds, and there are loan funds even if you've got bad credit, so there's no excuse not to get money. There is also the Business Innovation Centre, there's the University Incubation Hub. I'm looking at some innovative solutions to move on space for you guys because I want you to stay something where you'll have workshop or you'll have office attached to your apartments. I'm early days with that, I'll come back and tell you how to play and manage it. The other element is healthcare. We've got dreadful healthcare statistics in Sunderland. Really dreadful. So we've got to get these up. This is all about keeping young people like you in the city, keeping you working out, creating new businesses. It's about engaging with our leisure centres. It's about engaging with sports at the university. It's really important. We look particularly at these 3 areas in the council all the time as measures of how healthy the city is. There's an initiative called Healthy High Streets coming along. The high streets are getting in on the act. So it's all really good. And then we're going to underpin that with the right digital infrastructure. Because to drive changes and to drive businesses, you're probably aware, you need intelligence, you need data. To create the right environment for new businesses to grow, survive and thrive, we have to know what we're looking for and how we're going to get there. So we now use data to measure absolutely everything. I saw you all tapping your cards as you came in. Great data. I'd love some of that data. I said, is that going to be used to measure your correlation between your results? Because that's exactly what I'd be doing. I'll give you a slap on the ear roll if you missed too many lectures, but that's just me being the bomb. but data is at the heart of everything that we do, and as a social entrepreneur, data should be as well, because you need to measure what you do. I'm working on a new social impact tool that I'll share with you all if I get you contact details after this, where social entrepreneurs will be able to measure their outputs. Not in, oh, I felt good today, I did this and it helped. It'll actually be concrete accountancy, credible figures that will say, tell a non-social entrepreneur what effect they're having on the local economy, on the regional economy, or on the national economy, depending on which market area we're working in. So, for example, that slide I showed earlier with Margaret Elliott, whereas I just told turnover figures, her actual financial effect on the city of Sunderland far outweighs her turnover, because she's saving £4,000 a week hospital beds. She's saving the council. We're not going broke. We got to cut money, so we won't be able to provide care for these people going forwards. Her help to us is invaluable. So she will have a social impact value when I finish my tool, as well as a turnover tool value. So we're putting all this together. We've got something in the council called the Intelligence Hub. I'll bring that back to you one day as well, because it's quite interesting. We've got some really clever people from America who are ex-CIA, and they're using all the data of the city to analyse every aspect of what we do. So they're looking at troubled families, they're looking at business, they're looking at why our high street is dying, because believe you me, our high street is dying. Really seriously, it's dying. Footfall figures are down 13% year on year. I need students to go out there and spend. Please, tell us what we need to do. I need to come back to you at some point and ask you what can we do to change our city centre. We've got to reverse this, we've got to keep that vibrancy going. But Palantir are really interesting. You'll be fascinated as a group about what they're doing. Some of their early work has been brilliant. The other element that we're doing to create this right environment is building the right kind of places to live and work. So at the university, you've got your incubation space here. You've got the Fab Lab coming up, absolutely fantastic. We've designed and built the software centre. We've got Evolve, which is at Rainton Meadows, which is full capacity. There's still capacity in here, there's still capacity in your incubator. I'm looking at different ways of doing it, because actually this is quite expensive if you're a new business starting out, even though it's our incubator. So depending on your social enterprise, I'm going to have different options for you. I'm taking over a little market in Sunderland called Park Lake Market. I don't know if any of you know it? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to create a retail incubator there so that somebody can come along. It's £100 a week, really simple. Come in, set up your business, see how it works. It works, it doesn't, move on. But I'll help to get this moving. Looking at, as I mentioned already, innovative ideas about move-on space for students, so you've got somewhere to live and work that's reasonably priced, and it's going to keep people in the city and help the city to grow. I need feedback from people like you who are just starting out in this world to let us know what we can do more. I've found a company who does pop-up office space, so I'm looking at empty slots of land to try and fill those up at the moment. We're going to do, there's a big space of office development going to happen in the city centre called the Bork site, where the Borks Brewery used to be. So I'm looking at meanwhile space for there. Do you all know what meanwhile space is? Okay. It's where you take an empty building, an empty piece of land, and you do something with it to make it vibrant. So I've commissioned some designers to build a social enterprise hub and entertainment space, which is going to be built out of shipping containers, 2 stories high, and a central space in the middle for having, I was going to say raves, but that shows my age. Entertainment and things happening. So there are lots of options for new entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs in Sunderland. Another reason why we've achieved this social entrepreneur space, or this social place to do business, but we're not fully there yet. So, as I've already mentioned, to me, being a social entrepreneur is not just all about grants and handouts and giving all your profits away. It's about being business-minded first. To be a good social enterprise, you have to be a good business. You have to survive. No good if you can't make your money, no good. I get quite a lot of phone calls from social enterprises, not necessarily from here, but that I meet when I'm out at different places, and I'll say, we need funding, the council stop funding, and they get absolutely no sympathy from me, because this is not about funding, this is about hard-nosed business. Your business doesn't work, it's not business. So business first, social aspects second. We're doing what we say as well at the council. We're not just saying to the rest of the city, go out and do this, we're doing it ourselves. One of the reasons I was brought in, apart from to look at the whole city, which is quite a challenge in itself, I've got a port. If anyone's got any ideas what to do with the port, please tell me, because I don't know. Ships come in, ships go out. I don't know. What we're actually living what we're saying as well. My job is to create businesses out of all the departments in the council. But I don't want to just create businesses. I want to create social businesses. So, for example, people who mow the parks and gardens and clean the streets and things like that, they just think just happen. I'm creating a business out of that. When we make it an employee-owned business, so everybody in that council department has the opportunity to become part of that business. Because if you look at how a council works, don't know whether you've done it as part of your study, if you look at how a council works, it's a little bit safe, and it's a have my 6 weeks sickness a year because I'm allowed to. Should edit that from the tape. I'll have my holidays because I'm entitled to it. And if I work a minute past 5 o'clock, then I'll take that minute back. But in the new world, that's not going to work. So, the fact that we're looking to make employee-owned businesses out of all our council departments mean that I'm hoping they will challenge one another and ask questions like, why do you have to go back to base, which takes you half an hour, to have a 10-minute break just because the unions say you can? Because that's where a lot of our lost costs are, or hidden costs are in the council. So we're doing it. We've already got two companies out. We've got Sunderland Live, because what we're doing is transitioning. So we create what is called an arm's length company. So the council still owns it, and therefore they've still got degree protection. And then the next stage is they go out on their own. And the idea is that we commercialise while we still own them, so they're safe. And people can leave at this point if they want to leave. So we've got Sunderland Live, which is an events company. They've been operational for 2 years now. I'm in there at the moment doing turnaround because what we missed out before I came commercialising them. Because like I said, business first. The other one is called Sunderland Care and Support. That is going to become an employee-owned company on the 1st of April next year. That is our whole adult social services. So, big risk. Nobody else in the country has done anything quite as dramatic. That's going out. It'll be one of the biggest social enterprises straight away in Sunderland. We've done some other interesting things. They're not social enterprises though. We've created a joint venture because we can't afford to build any longer. So we've gone in with 2 big building companies, Carillion and Igloo, and created a joint venture. It's not a social enterprise, but it means that it helps to build the buildings that will house the social enterprises. And we've just done the same with leisure, because we realised actually we can't run leisure centres, we're no good, because of the 6 weeks sick and the 2 weeks holiday and the God knows what and goodness knows what. So we've got a private company in who actually does know how to run leisure centres. And our input into the leisure centres is going to go down to 0. But the people of Sunderland will still have great leisure centres. So, the kind of, so we're doing what we say. This is my kind of how we're going to move on forwards and what we're going to do. And it's my formula for building, creating and building this entrepreneurial city into something really great, this earth that will stop the world turning for a minute while people go, wow, Sunderland's fantastic. Because you know what, Sunderland is fantastic. We've got beaches, we've got city centre, even though we need to work on it. We've got countryside, it's absolutely fantastic. So, my formula really covers 7 areas. So the first one is to attract and retain young wealth creators. For this, we use social entrepreneurs, because I want everybody to have a social value in their hearts. So, at the moment, as a city, we are repelling people. We lose 480 people more every year than we retain. And we've got to stop that, because that is a drain on our future social entrepreneurs and our future full stop. So what we're doing as a council for this is we're building innovative, interesting houses and homes to give people somewhere to live. I've already mentioned that we're building interesting and innovative office space for social entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs to actually live and trade. The other element is that we need to be in constant state of renewal, physical renewal. So I've already mentioned Siglian, which is our joint venture with Carillion and Igloo. What Siglian is doing, we've put £100 million worth of land and buildings in Siglian as our investment. And they're now operating our buildings that we put into there to use the profits to put back into Sunderland to build. So on Borkside, we're going to have an internationally renowned set of offices, homes and businesses. But that's going to feed into the city centre. On the seafront, we're going to have a mixture of retail, leisure and houses to regenerate and reinvent the seafront. Do any of you get down to the seafront, by the way? Yeah? Has anyone used the bikes yet? For the bike hire? No? Maybe we need to promote that a little. That's a social enterprise. That they are, I can't remember the name of their social enterprise, but that's a social enterprise. It's partially funded by the council to get people active in Sunderland. It's great. They've got electric bikes if you're feeling lazy. They're really, really good. So, constantly physically renewing. God, look at the river. We really don't use the river. We've got things coming up here like we've got tall ships coming in 2018. Are you all familiar here, 2018? Yeah? No? Okay. Okay, you'll love it. We've got the biggest, tallest, floppiest ships coming to Sunderland for 3 days. It's going to be absolutely superb. Oh, and by the way, the air show next year is going to be fantastic. We've got something called X-Cats coming, Extreme Catamaran Racing. It'll be absolutely fabulous. These are all things that we do to drive creativity here. We need to be known for something, and this is something I challenged Rob to in the university when he came to see me. As a city, we need to be known for something. Not sure what that is yet. If you ask what we were known for years ago, it was shipbuilding and it's coal. And they've gone. If you ask what we're known for today, I would probably say it's Nissan on an international stage. Yeah? We've got to look forwards and we've got to think, what do we need to become known for in the future to attract these young wealth creators, to keep renewing ourselves? I'm not sure what that is yet, but the university is absolutely at the heart of that. We need to be well connected to other cities. I go down to London a lot. I use the Grand Central train quite a lot. It's not the best, but it's still connected. It's great. We've got Newcastle Airport, fantastic. We've got the A1 improvements, absolutely fantastic. So in that respect, that's a tick. I think we're pretty well connected. I think we could improve the line from Sunderland to York, if any of you have ever been on it. But that's out of our control. We could do that. So I think that's great. Cultivate new ideas, social enterprise. Entrepreneurs, full stop. Cultivate new ideas. Whether it's new ideas for business, new ideas for the city, whatever it is, we've got to encourage this. This is why I'm here today. I need to get you all now. Start thinking. I need new entrepreneurs, I need new ideas. Sunderland needs new ideas. Whether that's internet-based, whether it's physically-based, we just need to be at the forefront of everything. As a city, we need to be good fundraisers. I don't think you see that's a lovely dog in a kissing booth. That was my best thing I could do for fundraisers. We need to become good fundraisers. That's not just in a charitable sense, that's in a social sense as well. So again, back to social entrepreneurs, this is why they're the heart of everything for me. I'm just about to launch something called Space Hive. So when it comes out, I'll make sure you all get a list to tell you what's happening. I've been doing some trials with it. I've been working with Barclays Digital Eagles, and 10 young people, I hate this word, but I'm going to say this is how they describe needs. So not in education, enterprise or training. 10 young people who fit in this category, take part in an experiment, and they've all got jobs, which is fantastic. But the whole real reason about it was, it's crowdfunding for Sunderland. So if you were social entrepreneurs in Sunderland, you'll be able to go into Space Hive and say, I've got a great idea, I need funding, and Sunderland's pot would actually help, so the council will put some money in. Whereas we haven't got hundreds of thousands and millions to give away. We can put some money in. So if you've got a good social idea that will help Sunderland, you make a good enough pitch for it, it can go on our Space Hive, and people of Sunderland can support you. So that's coming. That's what I mean by a good fundraiser. I don't mean rattling your tins outside Sainsbury's. I mean putting something back into the city. And then finally, strong leaders. And we have got a number of strong leaders in the city. We've got Paul Callahan, if you've ever come across him, he's a really good, inspirational, strong leader. We've got the football club. Don't look at the results. We've got the football club. We've got the football club. Gary Hutchinson, who's their commercial director, is a great, strong leader. Absolutely fantastic. We've got Shirley Atkinson at the university here. Great, strong leader. We've got our leader of the council, who's now doing things in Europe. Great, strong leader. We've got a number of strong leaders. So we've got to grow on this and develop. And if we get all this right, and all right at the same time, this is one of the projects that I need support on. If we get all this right at the right time, can keep feeding our social entrepreneurs and keep growing, then we will become the strong city. Northern powerhouse, we'll be Sunderland powerhouse. I think we need to stamp our own identity with really fantastic. I'm going to start shouting about what's in London, outside of Sunderland. We need to tell everybody how great we are. But this is the key to it all. So, my message from this is, I've had to save time for questions for you all. My message for you all from this really is, yes, we're a great place to do social enterprise. Yes, we've got lots of great social enterprises. 50 is absolutely fantastic. What we need now is the next generation. We need B2B, business to business social enterprises. We need young social entrepreneurs. We're creating the right conditions, and that's why we were awarded this accolade. We just need people in Sunderland now to step up. I'll do absolutely anything I can to help anybody who wants to start a business. I've got a team behind me, I've got links, I can help. I'll direct anybody wherever they need to go, but we as a city, we're open for business. So, I'll give you my, I've got to show you. So, to wrap up, in February this year, the university took part in microtype competition. I'll tell you really simply what it's about. Very simply, microtype organisation donates £1, and in a month, you have to do as much as you can with that £1. But it's about being an entrepreneur in a nice, safe environment. So Deloitte runs a competition that is this. And in February this year, your university took part and came in the top 10 of the country. Now, I was away on holiday when it was going on. I'm going to be here this next year, and I want us to win. I don't do things not to win. You probably can tell that. So I want us to win next year. We're coming along. Pippa is normally running this building. Pippa ran it. Oh, she's there, yeah. Pippa ran it. So go to Pippa, register. We've got to start planning early, Pippa. We don't start planning in February, we start planning now. So we need people to sign up now. Okay. What did we turn our pound into? There you go. £1,072 in a month for £1. Okay. I can't remember what the top did, but it wasn't far off that, was it? The top former, Nottingham. There you go. Easy peasy. We can beat Nottingham, can't we? Yes, yeah. So, I've not got some of our students taking part, but I've got one of my favourite films of some kids that took part. So these were primary school children that took part. It's my favourite video. It's a couple of years old, so I'm really sorry. It's from 2014. It's 2013-14. But, so these are kids who had the same rules. The only rules, there is no paperwork, there's nothing boring, you don't do loads of pre-planning and pre-marketing, it's about the gorilla, it's about being an entrepreneur. So, the only two rules are no gambling, nothing illegal, that's it. So here are what the kids in Scotland did.
At the start of November, we got £1 from microtitle, and in 4 weeks, we turned that into £14,001 and 24 pence. £4,107 over £3,700. £1,655.62p. £3,743.96. £9,537. I feel that I wouldn't have a better picture than I would have had if I hadn't done that. I love making money for people that aren't as lucky as us, but Michael Tycho's taught me I can do that. The thing I liked about Michael Tycho is that I usually work with boys in a group, but this time I had to work with girls. But it was a totally different experience. I made a good one. You have to be very organised, and I'm very organised. Michael Tycho's made me realise that I'm really good at thinking up creative ideas for making money. I'm really good at working in a team. I'm a really good team leader, and I'm also really good at talking. I learned that if something goes wrong in business, improvise. I think it was all pretty easy. My team done face created. We did this little girl's face of Hello Kitty. We asked her for her money at the end, said she didn't have any. I learned to always get your money up front. Michael Tycho taught me to never give up. I don't know what it is, but I hate maths, but I love counting money. The thing I learned from Michael Tycho is that it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's how much imagination you have in your mind, and that's what it's all about. In the future, I want to use these skills in business to help other people. I liked all the case studies coming in and telling us all about our money and what we've done with it. Because of Michael Tycho, I am now a global ethical investor.
So, that's coming to this university in February next year. So let Pippa know if you want to take part. It's a chance to be an entrepreneur and practice in a safe environment. There's also a chance to engage with potential employees and childhood. So that's my little overview of social entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurship in Sunderland. Hope that was okay for you. Yeah? Okay.
Okay, I'm sure there's going to be some questions.
Yes, it's going to give us her email?
Sorry?
You say your email address.
Oh, yes, it's on. I'll put it back on. Yeah.
Okay, any questions when you say where you're from and then your name, where you're from, and then give us your question.
So that's my email address. I get hundreds a day, and I try to answer them every day, but I'll do my best to get back to you all. You remember.
Yes?
My name is Tamara. I'm a student at MSc HRM at University of Sunderland. Of course, I'm here. That part you're talking about the handball where I'm not far. I'm just next to the software center where I live, so I know it's decreasing now, the crime level, things like that. Roads around because there's a lot of social causes around, so the park also is there. So. But my worry is not that. The city of Sunderland, the way I say it, because I've worked with them as well. So, but I think the city is too small. The city center is too small. As you being a social entrepreneur, what do you have to do to expand the city center of Sunderland so to encourage more businesses to come and work? Because when I talk to ENK, you must know him. ENK was 2013 mayor of Sunderland. So this space you expanded to make the roads. I don't know. I'll crush them because the annual city council meeting, I go in there, and I told them, can they expand that to businesses instead of roads? They said that new businesses were coming. That's why they said they needed roads. So that's why. But to me, honestly, few moments last week, I was walking by. I didn't see any difference. The World Trade and them building that road. The money they invested in it, to me, could be invested in creating more space for businesses than building the road where practically is only home base over there, carries, not much businesses.
Oh, I know what you mean now. Yeah. I'm not in charge of roads. Okay, I'm in charge of business, not roads. I hear what you're saying. We are doing our best to expand the city centre. So the box site I mentioned earlier, that's all about creating new businesses and getting into the city centre. There are 2 new hotels coming. That's about getting people into the city centre. The city centre is too small, I completely agree. There's a brand new retail outlet coming next to the bridges, which I can't say what it is yet because it's not going to reach planning permission. That but it's going to be a different kind of thing. It's really cutting edge, it's really new. I was at an investment exhibition last week in London to attract investors to Sunderland. So I had to really sell Sunderland, and it was quite hard. But I captured a few people's interest. So I've got appointments from it, people coming to look at Sunderland. I'm doing my best to drive change in Sunderland. So the road that's being built is being built for the new bridge. And that is planning for when we're developing other things around the river's edge, and it's so that we don't have to disrupt people once they're in situ. We're doing the road disruption now so that we don't have to do it once the new buildings are built. So there is a big plan. I don't understand roads, I just drive on them. There is a big plan, and it is about building Sunderland. So my little thing with the market is about changing vibrancy in the city centre. I'm taking on Jackie White's market, which is the old-fashioned market, you know it.
Yeah.
I've got 2 designers coming looking at that next week to create a really nice place to go. Change the look of it completely, somewhere nice to go and eat, entertainment on there, and reduce the market stalls down to about half. So it's just change. And I need it to be changed for your generation, not for the past, because that's what we've got in Sunderland. We live for the past quite a lot. This is about living for the future. Social entrepreneurs are going to the heart.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Megan, and I live in Sunderland.
Really?
I've been involved in music projects like personally, I would like to see more venues. Like, I know we use the stadium, but it's specialised in football, and I think to take away from like maybe the hooliganism problems that we might get, I think we need like more of a specialised kind of music venue as opposed to like a theatre and something like outdoor space, similar to like the Ultra Academy or something like that. I think the brand development is available. What in terms of like educating, I mean, we can encourage the children and music and things like that, and expanding on venues, what is there to do there where they can actually perform here and things like that. I know a lot of people who go to like festivals, who volunteer like in Leeds, people who volunteer at O2 events, like already events in the past, but I would definitely like to
Send me an email because I need people like you. I'm with you. I'm trying to take over culture. The person that has it at the moment, I want to do more with it. So we've got the Canny Space, which is Holy Trinity Church, which is a social enterprise that's going to become a theatre space as well as a church, so it's doubling up. We've got the Meanwhile space that I mentioned on Vork site. If that's too expensive and doesn't come off, I've got other ideas as well. I'm buying a marquee that's wind resistant because the fun police stopped me from having marquees in Kiel Square. So if the wind blows higher than 25 miles an hour, or there's a risk of it, you can't have a marquee in there. So I found some marquees that withstand 55 miles an hour. I'm going to buy one. So we've got a pop-up venue, so you can go anywhere. I'm doing some pop-up restaurants and music venues on the seafront next summer. I'm looking into using St Mary's car park, the top floor, for a boiler steam shop kind of thing, because I'm struggling to find space in Sunderland. So I'm on it. When I take over Heartland Market, that is going to become a nighttime event. I'm having a cereal cafe in there, by the way. Do any of you know what a cereal cafe is? No? I don't. It's a cafe that sells cereal. All the way to London. I have envy when I go down to London. I have city envy. So I want us to become our own quirky little version of London. We've got some great things going on. I don't think we shout about it. We've got the Bunker, we've got the Independent. We've got a great music scene. And I just think we need to bring it out a little bit more and just celebrate it a little bit more. So I'm with you. Any more?
Any more questions?
Do we have any budding social entrepreneurs now?
I just got a question about the city itself.
Mm-hmm.
In a big city, things are going on 24 hours. But in Sunderland, every day after 6, nothing is happening. So is there anything council going to do to change in that way?
Council hasn't got any money to change in that way. The city has got to change itself. This is where I need people to power up and power in.
But it's not going to work if it's only a small unit, like literally a very big group of people to bring it.
We do. Got an opportunity. During Christmas, we've got an ice skating rink and we've got a Christmas market, 32 stalls in Kiel Square. It's going to be on every night until 10 o'clock. This is a chance for the City of Sunderland's people to come in and support it. If it doesn't get supported, I'm in trouble. Because I've pushed for this. So this is me starting to make a change in the city. As I come back from London and I'm on my own with the taxi drivers and the skateboarders, and it's just so sad. I leave London, it's bustling, and I come back here and it's empty. So I agree with you, we've got to change. It's very, very, very difficult because I'm trying to build the offer and the people and the offer and the people. And when I was at the exhibition last week, I was talking to people like Pizza Express, you know, the high street chains that aren't here, and they don't want to come to Sunderland because we haven't got the people to come in. So I'm trying to create those guys to be pioneers.
The culture, adapting the culture, making people go out more, or it has to be.
We've got some great restaurants. Funky Indian, you ever been there? Get to Funky Indian, that's a social enterprise. Get to Funky Indian, it's absolutely fantastic Indian tapas. Cam now owes me some money. We've got some great restaurants, really interesting restaurants. The chef, Angelo's, has won Italian Chef of the Year. When I take people to Angelo's, it's me and the skateboarders. So we need people to go out and support our businesses. I'd love to see more social enterprise restaurants. Oh, there's a gym bar opening in Sunnyside. I don't know if any gin drinkers, but that's maybe a sign that Sunderland's on the up. We're getting started getting interesting things opening. But yes, we need people in the city centre. I agree. Any thoughts? Let me know.
I
it has to do with the environment. When you talk of business, you want to create more business in Sunderland, I think the environment matters as well. Because these days you go out, you see a lot of rubbish all over the streets. And I feel that this situation, I don't know if you're the right person I should tell this, but it's not a good environment. At times you see a lot of rubbish on the streets becoming alarming, and I don't think it's a very right thing. So.
Now the problem going forward is we've no money to sweep those streets, so we need people to stop putting rubbish on the streets. I pick rubbish up, one of those sad people who walk on and pick it up. My husband won't walk with me because I pick rubbish up and put it in the bin. But this is changing our culture as a city. We will not have money to sweep the streets. Full stop. So we either need the voluntary sector to step up and do it, but we also need people to stop dropping litter in the first place. I agree, it doesn't look good. So pick it up. In Disney, they're for years. If you see something wrong, fix it. So if you see rubbish on the ground, fix it. Pick it up. I do. I'm a bit sad. Any more? Others?
Something just crossed my mind. I don't know if it's a good business or right, but it just run the corner of this building. You know this river here?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Can you do something to put like a small boat, even with a £1 to cross?
It's on the card.
Okay.
George Clark, you know the architect George Clark's in pretty places. He also run a competition to build a bridge. £6 million. Said you might not get there, George, but might go to a boat.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, I'd like to put our hands together again to thank Andrea. Yeah.